This video took me a long time to film just because I was dragging on getting the pruning done. So in the meantime, the new title is now How I Prune My Bougainvillea for Maximum Bloom. In here, it's really full, well, once you get inside it. So I'll actually be taking the loppers in here. Let's see if I can get something right here. I'll actually be taking the loppers and taking a lot off in here. And I like it to camouflage this space here, but I don't want it to go too much further back in between my neighbor's garage and my garage here. And these are those water chutes I was telling you about. They're very sticky. And this one is small, but they'll go off of the branches here and they'll just get thick and they'll shoot straight up. So, and they don't do anything. So just take those off. And again, I'm gonna trim, get this all nice and open in here. This I pruned pretty well. I'm just gonna take off the tips up there so that it stays fairly level there, because I like this structure it has going across the garage, and it almost goes to the shed, which is the office, which is my office, the world headquarters for Joya's Garden. And I don't want it to come too much down here because this is not all that tall. So you can see the difference between that thin part and then this part right here. So basically all I have to do now is this part, which I'm going to give a haircut to, and then this part, which is already pretty thinned out, I'm just going to give a little trim. And I really need to thin this part up out here in there, right in there. You can see how dense that is. I'll back it out a bit. So I'm going to go in there and I'm going to take out whole branches to really air it out, because as the foliage grows back, it gets even thicker. It's a couple weeks later and I still haven't finished the pruning of my bougainvillea, but as you can see, it's exploded into color. We had a couple of warm spells, so it's really opened up. I have to really thin out that center part there, that glob. But otherwise, I just wanted to show it to you in full bloom, but it has a lot more coming on it, and it'll bloom off and on all year long, so I don't mind cutting off some of the flowers, and hopefully I will get around to that this weekend. And now I'm going to show you why my bougainvillea is so dense with color. Bougainvillea blooms on new wood, so if you encourage new growth, then come the flowers. This is tipped here. Tipping is another term for pinching. So I can either take my Felcos and I can go here. I tend to go down a little bit further there. You can do it with your fingernails if you want to. There's a lot to do here. Or I sometimes use these floral nips here because they're finer. But usually when I'm pruning, I have my Felcos, so I just use those. And what this tipping does also is it encourages a lot of growth inside. So that's what I've done, is I've thinned out a lot of the growth here. And as you can see, there's more of the colored bracts coming on here. Here's a little close-up on the inside. So I thinned it so some light can get in there. And I will thin out even more in about a month after all the blossoms have fallen off. But it was just hard to see a lot because it's so full with flowers. All right, so my bougainvillea is finally done. I've got it thinned out and tipped. And I'm happy with how it turned out. So remember, I start on the outside and I take out some of the branches, then I go inside and I take out the branches. I take them all the way down to a main branch or to the trunk, and then I tip prune to bring out all that color. I hope you have found this video helpful. As usual, there's a post that goes along with this video. I'll leave the link to it in the description box down below. So be sure to subscribe because I have a lot more videos coming your way. And as always, I thank you so much for watching. So let's get out in the garden and make the world a more beautiful place. Bye!